Well, the Professor and the Madman is the story of W.C. Minor and James Murray. It starts out with this guy who isn't really important. He gets killed by W.C. Minor. W.C. Minor is tried for murder, but he is tried not guilty because he thought Irish people were molesting him in his sleep and he had to gun them down. He was charged with insanity, though. It's also mentioned that he really loves the ladies. But that's not important right now. Well, James Murray is a really poor kid, and he grew up with a profound liking for knowledge and the pursuit of it. Okay, he was a really big nerd. Well, the big nerd got into really good colleges, and he was really smart. Now back to W.C. Minor, the ultimate badass. Well, when he was growing up, he grew up on an island because his parents were aristocracy of America, and he was rich. And on that island, that's how he got his lust for the ladies. And I quote, "And there are girls, young chocolate-skinned, ever-giggling naked girls with sleek-white bodies, rosebud nipples, long hair, coldish legs, and scarlet and purple petals, folded behind their ears, who play in the white Indian Ocean, surf, and who run quite without shame, along with the cool wet sands on their way home." Well, he had a mom and a sister, but they die. He goes to war after, he graduates from Yale as a medical surgeon guy. He becomes a surgeon of war, and he witnesses some crazy stuff. But this crazy stuff isn't what causes his insanity. In fact, at the time, there were deserters who were leaving the war and retreating. Well, they were punished really severely, like death and stuff, but that was later abolished because it was too cruel. But instead, no, they branded their men with D's for dessert. Well, Minor had to brand this one Irish guy, and that explains why he was afraid of Irish people molesting him in his sleep. Now back to the time and events after Minor was tried. The book pretty much just tells you about previous dictionaries and their history, and what was wrong with them. Soon after, it describes Minor's asylum and life in the asylum. Well, during this time of asylumment, Murray happened to be getting his job as the editor of the Oxford Dictionary. He sent out requests for people who wanted to add definitions to the dictionary with quotations from pre-existing novels, from a bunch of books that were delivered to him from the wife of the man he murdered, but she understood, don't worry. And from that moment on, for many years, Minor happened to keep sending in definition to Oxford. But he was recognized as one of the greatest definition givers ever, but he never went to meetings. People were really puzzled. Murray decided to look into it, and he was told by a librarian that Dr. W.C. Minor was a mental patient. But Murray visited him, and they became friends. Despite his new hobby and his new friend, he was still sad because he was in an asylum for a lot of years, about 30. So he began to blame himself and wondered why the gods were doing this to him. He thought of his sexual lust and then proceeded to cut off his own dick. Well, after that incident, people thought he was getting sad and old, and he should die back where he belongs in America. Despite many objections, he was able to go back with the help of Winston Churchill, and I guess Murray too, but Winston Churchill. Well, the rest of the book just states about how they lived after these events. They were close to death. So, Murray just died in hopes that the dictionary would be completed before he died. It didn't. And W.C. Minor died. As crazy as ever, but now in an old people's mental facility.
And although that they may be represented badly, I do believe that they are great people and should be remembered more and respected as such.